All right, so in today's video, it's going to be a little bit of an interesting one. So a while ago, I did a video with CarQ, and this was in Overwatch 1. To give you an idea, to give context of like when we did this video, there are, at this moment, we do tips and tricks on D.Va for 26 heroes. Currently, right now, I think there's 39 heroes in the game, give or take. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this video back. This is like years ago. We're going to watch this video back. It's actually also the first time I ever met CarQ, which is awesome. We're going to see where are these tips and tricks today? Are any of them still relevant? Or do I have any updates to the heroes that are on here? And we'll just kind of enjoy like the video of this one, all right? Does that sound good? A little bit different? A little bit different of a react in this one? I think this will be fun. So this is, keep in mind, this is recorded during Overwatch 1. You'll see a little bit of differences, 6v6, things like that. You're going to notice that the game will look a little bit different just because, like, obviously the game over the years has updated to the kind of, like, cleaner version, like just the way it looks now, the game, like the way the text is in game, etc. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy this. It's a little bit different than we do. Let me know what you think. All right, here we go. So, what basically I went through with CarQ, we went through every single like hero that was available at the time in Overwatch 1, and we had some tips and tricks. So this first one, I can already tell is going to be a little bit outdated, and I'll explain why. Get ready.
D.Va players know that you can cancel your boosters with melee, allowing you to do a quick burst damage of 25 from the boop and 30 from the melee. However, it is actually possible to melee without canceling your flight. The trick to it is to begin your booster jet and melee immediately. If you're too slow, it will end up canceling the flight. This means D.Va has an even higher burst potential than you probably thought, because she can now do 25 from the boop, 30 from the first melee, and another 30 from a melee at the end, without even factoring in your primary fire and micro missiles. This initial burst damage means that you can bait out crucial cooldowns such as deflect and recall without committing your micro missiles. It requires really good flight control, but if you master it, you will find yourself dictating the pace of the fights.
And with that, let's begin.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about this. One, why does it sound so scripted? Because it was. CarQ had a whole spreadsheet for me at the time, like a Google Doc or like a Word document that he had made after I kind of gave him some of the tips and tricks that I thought would be like a good idea. So that is why it's like that. Also, the mic I'm using is like a headset mic, which is why it's a little bit different than you can normally hear on that one. Is this tip still relevant today? No. You can do the melee combo still, but they actually, believe it or not, at the beginning of Overwatch 2, changed it so when you're in flight form now, it doesn't cancel your flight. So you can still use the melee to do that, but it doesn't cancel your flight anymore, so you don't really have to worry about that tech too much. Like, yes, you want to do the burst damage, but no, it doesn't work like it used to. Like, that whole advanced tech, it's not really there anymore. It just doesn't work as much anymore, so. All right?
Begin the matchups.
Doomfist Rocket Punch is a big part of his burst, so what I recommend is to fly over him to dodge it and then go for a burst combo with your missiles. It seems simple, but it's very important because avoiding the damage will also prevent him from building his shields, making him easier to eliminate. When Genji uses...
So keep in mind, chat, listen, I didn't say these were... Chat's probably watching that going, wow, you fly away from a Doomfist, thank you. But, like, believe it or not, at this time in Overwatch, these were still very, like... These were still, like, tips you wanted to learn. You wanted to look for stuff like that, right? It's funny now because I feel like anytime I try to, like, fly away from a Doomfist now, with Doomfist being a tank, this is Doomfist as a DPS, I feel like I get rolled. Like, I always get punched now. It's like they increased the hitbox on that. Is that tip still relevant? Yes. But now I think the tips on D.Va kind of shift more towards just wait out their block and then do your burst damage. I think is a better way. I think that's the more... I think that is the... I would update it to that. Just wait on the block from Doom and then burst damage. So, yeah, Doomfist was a DPS in Overwatch 1.
This is Dragon Blade. It is crucial for you to use your boosters into him and boop him away from his target. Doing this reduces the chances of him confirming a kill for a dash reset, which can lower the impact his ultimate has. Another quick tip is...
Okay, so just to quickly talk about that now. This is back when there wasn't as much CC happening in the game yet. Yeah, you don't even have to worry about that anymore, because someone else on the team is probably going to boop that Genji, and we know that Genji ain't getting any value with the blade. Does it still work? Yeah, I mean, I still fly into Genjis now to try to boop that, but Overwatch has changed so much now that, like, you're going to just... There's nothing you're going to be able to do at that point. It's just, you fly into him, do some damage, have some fun. And of course, This is a tip that I still think is relevant that I'm about to bring up here, is wait on the deflect to use your rockets. It's the same thing we just talked about with Doom. Like, that would be the update I would do for that one. Obviously, it would be more advanced, but yeah.
Is that I generally try to stop myself from using micro missiles until I see his deflect come out. When McCree channels High Noon,
Obviously, a lot's changed since then. So with Cassidy here,
a lot of D.Vas instinctively matrix immediately and fly towards him.
with Cassidy
However,
here, ready?
good McCrees usually expect this and won't fire.
What you
until
want to
they
do is you want to wait to use your DM, and it's changed a lot from now, right? Yes, obviously Cassidy now. This was 5 years ago. So with Cassidy, what you want to do is wait a little bit, but I think that like Cassidy's High Noon is just a lot more. How do we explain it? Like easier to like outplay a defense matrix. Do you know what I'm saying?
They see your matrix timeout.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is time it accordingly.
Exactly.
When you hear the High Noon sound, wait a brief moment before using defense matrix because the skulls take time to ramp up. Additionally, you can fly into his face and cover his screen and actually body block him from doing any damage to your teammates, even if he has the skulls up at the expense of your mech.
That is a good play still.
If Farah,
You see that play right there? That is against Cassidy. That is something I would still highly recommend, by the way, just so you know. Body blocking is something that I will do if everything else isn't going to work against the High Noon. Body blocking is a huge part of that. So like one tip from that against Cassidy that I would still recommend is body blocking there. All right? So my voice sounds way different. This is just to give you an idea, chat. This is just showing you the difference between like what a high quality mic does and what like having like a headset mic is. The only difference now is that I have a high quality mic and I was using a headset mic before. This is why it sounds as good as it does now. So
barrages, fly into her with your defense matrix and use micro missiles if available. Even if matrix runs out, get up in her face because the rockets will deal splash damage and she'll eliminate herself. Against Reaper, you should threaten him.
That is the same. That is the exact same thing I would say for Farah up until this day. I don't think anything has changed with that, in my opinion. Also, I do want to point out, Chad, if you're wondering why we're saying missiles, because Karq and I had about a 45-minute discussion on whether we're supposed to say missiles or missiles. I say D.Va missiles now, but for this script, we went with missiles. like we had a whole discussion on this one. Yep. So I go with missiles now, but like we had gone on a whole discussion because we didn't know.
Him with some damage to force out his Wraith form cooldown without using micro missiles. So when he comes out of it, you have a burst combo available. Against Soldier,
nothing's changed about that, by the way, chat. Only thing I would add on to that is knowing when they have Reaper ult and getting ready for Reaper ult. But same thing. That has not changed against Reaper. Reaper's playstyle hasn't changed. Just wait. Like, do that exact play I talked about. You're good to go against Reaper. Nothing's changed there.
Boop him out of the biotic field when dueling him. Also do your best to matrix his visor. Even if it runs out, try to stand in front of him to body block so he can't aim lock onto anyone else. Essentially, you should be the punching bag for your team as best as possible to prevent any of your squishies from dying.
Yeah, you can tell that Karq scripted that because that is exactly something Karq would say when it comes to a punching bag for your teammates at that point. Nothing's changed with that, by the way. Nothing has changed with that. It's the exact same thing against Soldier 76. The only thing is that you might take a little bit more damage now when you go for the boop against Soldier, but that's just how Overwatch is now. Keep in mind, this was in 6v6, so you had a little bit more opportunity to kind of like make that play, but yeah, nothing's changed there with Soldier 76. It's pretty much the same. Now, Bastion's been slightly reworked since then, so I'm curious to see what everything was for Bastion here.
If you know Sombra is invisible around you, fly around and use your rockets to try and find her. If you hear or see her hacking anything, try your best to shoot her to stop it from going through no matter the distance. Against Tracer, the best thing...
That's the same thing. Rockets to find her? Listen, this was Overwatch at a different time. Do I recommend to use the rockets now? No, you can just hold your left click down because you shoot bullets. Yeah, it's called spy checking in Overwatch. I recommend that still. And then another thing I add now with new Sombra, just try to force out the translocator, and it's so much easier to get the Sombra now because you can see where the Sombra goes. That's the only update I'd have on that.
The thing you can do is time your defense matrix during her attack and reroll cycles to maximize your matrix uptime.
Yep.
I
don't have to pause that.
Bastion,
Same thing against
work
Tracer.
With your team to dive together because you can only shoot one person at a time. When engaging a Bastion with your team, your job is to use your micro missiles with defense matrix to output a little damage while eating all his bullets so everyone else can kill him freely. When you hear Hanzo channel his ultimate...
Okay, just to pause for a second, by the way, on that one. The Bastion is different now. So what you would change about that now against Bastion, right, is when Bastion, you have to time for turret form now. So, like, all you want to do is save your defense matrix for the burst damage of Bastion when they go into turret form, and then you want to save it for the grenade. It's so much different now how you play that. And you can eat the ultimate. So
there is a voice line right before the arrow shoots out. Listen for it, fly into him, and Matrix to eat.
That's the same with Hanzo. I don't have
Against
the pause there.
Junkrat, you can eat both his mines. Prioritize that over anything else, and use your rockets to take him out quickly because he has a large
Yep,
hitbox.
you can eat the mines.
You can also eat his balls when he dies.
Okay, that is the same. I would still recommend the same play here. You can eat the mines, and you can eat his balls when he dies. Both of those work. Nothing's really changed with Junkrat in that sense. So you're good to go. So nothing's changed.
May is able to freeze you even with Defense Matrix up.
Yep.
So you can turn around 180 degrees to avoid
Still
being
works.
headshot since D.Va's head hitbox is front and
Except it doesn't, because guess what? You don't get freezing any. You don't get frozen anymore. So this doesn't matter anymore. This used to be how you would do that when you would be technically, if you want to do this during the May ultimate, you can do that. You should just fly away. This is it's a lot different now. You would just fly away now. It's a lot different. Used to get frozen completely. So this is just a completely different strategy at this point now. So, like, these tips wouldn't even work. I mean, against May now, the only tip I have is pay attention for Ice Block. And then if they have May ult, just prepare for the May ult. Like, there's not much more to it now.
Remember that since your primary fires technically hit scan shotguns, the slightest bit of damage while he's building up his turret will slow it down since he has to repair it first. Also,
chat, just so you know, there isn't level turrets anymore. So what this meant was, so for anybody new to Overwatch or didn't play during the Torb turret like this, it used to be level 3. So you would build your turret up. It would be level 1, and then you would build it up. So what you would do is you would shoot at the turret, so every time they try to build it past that level, it would block it from doing that. So that's what I'm saying here. That's not the case now. Straight up, you play against a Torb now, the best thing you can do is go for them after they use like their what is it, overload or molten core, whatever they turn to like Torb like this, and kill the Torb turret. Please kill the Torb turret. I don't care what hero you're on. All right.
a lot of people don't know this, but when he's using his molten core, don't be afraid to focus and kill him first, because the moment he dies, his level 3 turret reverts back to level 2.
That's
Against
not relevant.
Widow, it's all about trying to close as much distance onto her without using your booster and eventually engaging her to either burst her down or force her to grapple away. In a D.Va 1v1, whoever...
Just to point out, by the way, that's the same thing with Widow now. Nothing's really changed in that Widow 1v1. I would say it's a little bit better to try to force the grapple. So something I do now is I get mid-range on a Widow, and then I try to force out the grapple before I fly at them, and then when they fly or they grapple, I then go and get the elim. So it's changed a little bit slightly since then, but it's kind of the same concept.
Whoever hits more micro missiles wins, so you need to save enough matrix to eat it. There's no reload time, so you're always holding primary fire unless you see those missiles come out.
Yeah,
Wait
that's
for
fine.
Orisa to use her Fortify, and she should be a very easy target. If she goes back and forth between a shield, make sure to
Jay, you notice anything? Anybody notice anything? So for anybody new to the game, Orisa used to have this giant shield. So obviously this is completely different now. So just to give some updates on Orisa now, you can eat a lot of Orisa's, like you can eat the spear if I'm correct, right? You want to bait out the gold, and then that's when you do your damage. That's when you'll get Orisa. That is the best timing. You don't have to worry about the shield, like, meleeing through shields, going back and forth, all of that. Like, this is completely different now, all right? Yeah, Orisa had pull, like, watch.
and his defense matrix and use melee to put damage into her.
Yep.
Against Reinhardt, you can boop him in his charge to push him away from a target. Just be careful not to get in front unless it's to save one of your teammates. Against Roadhog...
Okay, so I want to point out, every time I boop a Reinhardt now, they just pin one of my teammates. I still recommend that play, though, because it's fun. All right, I'm just pointing that out. I want everybody to know that. All right.
Be sure to matrix any one he hooks and time it so you minimize wasting its uptime.
Yep,
If
and
you're
kill
out of
Pigpen
matrix,
now.
You can boop him instead when he's about to
Yep,
shoot. So
all
you
this
throw
is
off
relevant.
his aim. Use your booster jet into Winston as he leaps
Yep.
to knock him back down. This is a huge counter to stop his initiation and
Yep.
to also stop his jump pack damage. When
I
playing
agree.
against Zarya, make sure to play more of a flank style D.Va and pressure her while she's focusing your team. One of the easiest ways to eat grabs is by pressuring her personal bubble early on and then using defense matrix after putting in a...
So it's not personal bubble anymore now. There's a little bit of a different counterplay now than it used to be. So there's a little bit of a counterplay than it used to be now, I'd say. So like the same thing. It's funny because I've kind of reworded how I play against Zarya now, but if you notice, what I'm saying here is don't face tank Zarya, play more flank style or play more at angles, because if you try to face tank Zarya, even in 5v5, it doesn't go well. So you want to kind of play around that.
A lot of damage, as most Zaryas will try to panic ult when they feel pressure.
Yeah, they don't do it as much now. I got the guy, we're good. Because it's a little bit more obvious
What
in
I
that
like to do
counterplay.
against Anna is fly into her to begin pressuring her. Right after this, most Annas panic and throw a sleep or a nade. This is when you flash your matrix and eat it. For Sleep Dart specifically, you can react to the wind-up animation.
Remember the days when we could 1v1 an Ana as D.Va? I mean, all of this is still relevant information, but let me tell you, the result is a lot different. Let me tell you, the result is a lot different now. I try to 1v1 an Ana now, and I'm going back to spawn real quick.
So don't get caught with your pants down. Against Lucio, you can hold down your primary fire against him. This actually reduces your knockback distance because it grounds your character. Additionally, you can fly into him if he's...
I mean, that still kind of works a little bit, but they have the tank passive now. So, like, it's not as relevant as a tip as it was before. Ryan, thanks for the 4 months of the tier 1. Thank you. So it's, like, not as irrelevant a tip, but it still works. Like, it can still work. It just isn't as...
wall ride and then circles to boop him off.
Lol, I
Mercy is a
remember these
complicated
days.
hero. Against Mercy, boop her off or res to cancel it.
Yep.
Against Symmetra, boosters can deal damage, so you can fly into the sentry nest to destroy them all for your team. Also, it is a viable tactic to launch a D.Va bomb close to the teleporter or shield generator since it provides so much value to the enemy team if you don't have a reliable teammate to take it out. Do it close though, because good Symmetras will use Photon Barrier to block it out. You are a huge counter to Moira because you can completely eat her orb, which is one of the primary aspects.
So if anybody's wondering what we were watching right there, by the way, if anybody there was watching that, by the way, just so you know, that was the old Symmetra where she had like a shield and like a barrier. So when you watch like Sim right here, by the way, see? That's an older version of Symmetra. You see that? And then what Shield Generator was, right? So we talk about Shield Gen. Shield Gen was this thing that gave shields to all your teammates, okay? And now, what that did was it would give, like I said, it would give you shields. But on this map specifically, so if you've never seen this map, this is Volskaya, by the way. Symmetras found a spot on this map that you could put a shield gen on first point and you could never get it. So you could never get it. It was impossible. You had to run to their spawn. You would spend 4 minutes to get there. If you did that, you would lose the point. So they would have the shield gen on first point in a building, and then the whole time on Volskaya, your team on attack would have full shields the whole time.
Tactic to launch a D.Va bomb close to the teleporter or shield generator since it provides so much value to the enemy team if you don't have a reliable teammate to take it out. Do it close though, because good Symmetras will use Photon Barrier to block it out. You are a huge counter to Moira because you can completely eat her orb, which is one of the primary aspects of her kit.
Still the same.
Additionally, her Biotic Grasp is extremely ineffective against armor, so engage her if you're above your armor threshold.
Yep.
Against Zenyatta, if you see him charging his secondary fire, there is a travel time for the projectile, so you can react with Defense Matrix. Zenyatta is a priority target for D.Va because he has a very unforgiving hitbox, and using your rockets and missiles can essentially one-shot combo him. Okay,
so just to talk about that very quickly, while we're here, yeah, I get rolled by Zen half the time. It still kind of works the same way. Like, it still kind of works the same way, but, like, it's just a little bit of different of playstyle now. You're more likely to get rolled by the Zenyatta, but the hitbox is still rewarding for going up against the Zen, so, like, it depends. Zenyatta's more of a tank now, so, yeah.
Thank you so much, Emongg, for joining me on this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Check out his stream and YouTube links down below, and I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, make sure to do that, chat. Check out the stream and YouTube links down below. So there you go. You know, it was fun to look back at that because I remember that was the first time I ever met Karq. Like, Karq's like, hey, I know you play a lot of D.Va. I do this tips and tricks series. Would you like to do that? So that was the first time I got to meet Karq, and obviously Karq and I have been really close friends ever since then. So it was really cool to be able to meet Karq, do this video. I think this video ended up getting, like, close to, like, 1.5 million views. So, can we do an updated one with Karq? Maybe. We'll talk. I mean, it depends if Karq's even doing that much of that anymore. I have to talk to him about it. I mean, technically, he does. I think he does his. I guess he still does stuff. Yeah, I think he still does it, but I think he goes a little bit more stuff now. So, I think Karq said he's not interested to watch very old clips. It was just fun to see. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed that. Seriously, thank you everybody for watching this. This was a bit of a different thing that we do with it, but it was a lot of fun. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Sub to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. A lot of awesome videos in each one. Different content in each one too. Pretty much everyday uploads on all the channels now too. I mean, obviously we're getting there on second channel. Third channel's ranked games. First channel's a lot of the stuff that you usually see on there, which has been awesome. Look in the description below. Just follow everything. We record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch chat right there. Make sure to follow the Twitch chat right there. Or follow the Twitch. We have a lot of fun. With that being said, hope you have an amazing day/night. Also check out Karq. All right, see you later.